All right, what is happening, everybody? Welcome to the real episode 24 of the Bards of Gaming podcast. I know that last episode in the Dismantle episode, I fucked up and I said that was episode 24. I was wrong, and I accept that. But this week, I sat down with a good buddy of mine, my buddy Nick, who you may know from the Legend of Zelda episode, as well as the Donkey Kong 64 episode, and we talked about the iconic start to one of Microsoft's top franchises, Gears of War. And we had a really great time sitting down this week and talking about this game, and I am so happy to announce that I actually had a couple of people give me feedback on this game before I was actually sitting down to record this, so I am going to read their comments and give them a shout out. And as per usual, Aeon Driver Gaming, who is a really great dude, great collection, great collector, he commented saying, "This game is legendary. I remember beating this game on the hardest difficulty with a buddy of mine. It was so much fun. It revolutionized the cover shooting genre, memorable characters as well." And I cannot agree more. I actually do say later in this episode, I believe that this was a complete overhaul of the cover shooting genre. This really, from the ground up, did revolutionize it, and I give this game a lot of respect. And holy shit, good on you for beating this on the hardest difficulty. I don't think I could do that on a good day. And then we had another comment from, I don't know how to say his name exactly. It's Jerry Garcia 23. Is what I'm going to call him, said, "Downright awesome game, some of the best multiplayer of its time." That's a hot take. Probably could have had a longer life, but Halo 3 released a year after this game kind of made people forget how awesome Gears was. And yeah, I could see that. As you'll hear my thoughts later in this episode, I personally was not fond of the multiplayer, but listen, I understand, and I do say that I understand this game had a massive multiplayer following, and I understand that there's still probably a very large fan base behind it. It's just not my cup of tea. But I definitely appreciate the comment. Keep them coming, and I look forward to hearing more and being able to read more in future episodes. And as a bonus comment, Jerry Garcia also said, 04 to 09, 2004 to 2009 was an absurd stretch for multiplayer gaming. We had Halo 2, Gears, Halo 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and yeah, in my opinion, I mean, for what it's worth, the Xbox 360, that whole generation of game, like that console generation, in my opinion, the Xbox 360 was king. And I mean, that's the only console generation I feel confident saying that, but the Xbox 360 was king. You had the Halos, they were going real strong. You had Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach, Halo ODST. You had some of the greatest Call of Duty games of all time in that generation. Modern Warfare 1, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, and you had the Gears franchise. You had Gears 1, 2, and 3 all on the Xbox 360. Now that right there, that list alone, 2 out of those 3 franchises that I just read off were Microsoft exclusives. And I don't think that Microsoft has ever seen nearly as much strength as a console as they had back then. But anyway, I digress. Welcome to episode number 24 of the Bards of Gaming podcast, and I hope that you enjoy everything that you're about to hear. If you do enjoy everything that you're about to hear, including my bird behind me, please leave a like, leave a follow, leave a rating, and I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this episode. Feel free to reach out to me in my DMs. You can reach me most easily at the Bards of Gaming on Instagram. That is easily where I'm most active. You could also reach out to me at 2Bards of Gaming with the number 2 on X or Twitter. And you can find all links to my socials as well as my email and some links to some merch at thebardsofgamingpodcast.com. If anybody's interested as to what I'm playing now, so this Gears of War, I actually played this about a year or two ago with my buddy Nick. You'll hear that in the episode. I just finished The Division. So for those of you who don't know, I ran a t-shirt winning contest, or drawing, I should say, back in June. And the lucky winner of that t-shirt, I allowed them to pick their favorite game. And as long as I haven't covered it on the show, I would play it and be sure to cover it on the show, as well as invite them to be a guest on the episode. I hope that they're still down to be a guest on the episode, but I will let you guys know. If not, I'll find somebody else to cover it with me. But their choice was The Division, the first one, from 2014, I think. And I gotta say, I had a blast playing through that, but I finally beat it, and now it's time to move on to other games. So I'm gonna start playing Batman Arkham Asylum, for not in the next episode. I don't know, an episode coming up very soon. And I'm also working on putting together some more top 10 lists. Also, I started playing Diablo 2 again. I've never gotten that far in that game, but I think I want to do an episode on that game as well. So strap in, sit down, grab a fake beer, grab a coffee, whatever you want, and enjoy the episode. See you in there. All right, welcome back to the Bards of Gaming episode, the real episode 24. As I will probably have apologized for that blunder in the intro, I have not recorded the intro yet. This week we're going to be covering the first Gears of War game, an iconic game from an iconic franchise, with my buddy Nick. Nick, how you doing?
Oh, dude, I'm living the dream.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Dude, it's good to have you back. And I gotta say, and I know I'm gonna want to plug this at the end of the show, but I want to just jump the gun right here and say that I am super excited to hear that you are going to be getting back into content creation with your channel GameCap, and I will definitely be looking to plug that at the end of the show.
Awesome, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, bud.
Dude, of course. And if you want to cover this on there, I am more than happy to do another co-op playthrough with you. But that being said, let's just jump right into the episode. And I have quite a bit to say about this game. I hope you do too.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I played it. I think it was probably earlier this year that I finished this game.
Did we finish it together, didn't we? I know we played through it together. Did you do a solo too?
No, I think like we started the co-op campaign, and then I was just like, yeah, I really just want to keep plugging away at this. So I just continued on my own.
Oh, that was the second one.
Was it?
Yeah, no, I remember you and I went through the first one a couple of years ago because I remember like I had just gotten the Xbox Series S and it was part of Game Pass, and I was like, you know what? I haven't played these games like since they came out. And I love these games. I also don't love these games for quite a few reasons. We'll get into it. But I remember saying like I really want to go through all of these games, and I know you hadn't played them, so I invited you to do a co-op playthrough with me. But I remember you and I did the first one together.
Right.
But I have a lot of love I want to give to this game, and as per usual, you've been on the show with me before. Let's start out with everything we don't like about this game. So I'm going to hand you the microphone, and you tell me what you don't really like about this game first.
All right. Well, some of the things I don't like about this game, and this could be a like, it could be a dislike. I don't really know. But one of the things I'm not a fan of is how tight the controls are. So the overall controls, that I say tight in the terms of like it's just very rigid. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. I definitely feel that, like, especially with the sprinting mechanic.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Dude, this game, like, anybody who's played this game will pretty much know exactly what we're saying. Like, walking around in this game is whatever. You are a human tank, no matter what character you're playing as. You are a human tank. It's everything shy of wearing a fucking mech suit. And when you sprint, it's like it goes from just whatever regular walking mechanic, totally maneuverable, to now you're like driving a car. And you have to I don't know, you can't turn on a dime. You're kind of like, the sprinting mechanic fucking sucks in this game. That is one thing I'll definitely agree with you on.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I don't have a lot of dislikes for this game off the top of my head. I mean, maybe we'll talk about more when you go down your list, but the controls being as rigid as they are, and particularly the sprinting mechanic, that was probably like the biggest gripes that I've had.
Yeah. All right. Well, I definitely, like I said a minute ago, I definitely agree with the sprinting mechanic, and the controls of this game do kind of suck. I will give credit where credit is due, though. It and like benefit of the doubt, this was a very early game in, I believe, I think it was like 2006 in
Something
the
like that.
Xbox 360 life. It was
Yeah, it
real
was
early,
very early on.
and I mean it shows because like one of the dislikes that I had written down is that like this game is the poster child for those classic Xbox 360 like brown and gray graphics. Like
Oh yeah.
that whole console generation across every console except Nintendo was like that was the color scheme. I mean, you look at so many of the games from that time, even like if you go to PlayStation, you got the Uncharted series, they were pretty brown and gray. You have Killzone, that was pretty brown and gray. But like on Xbox, Gears of War was the poster child for that color scheme. The visuals weren't bad. I mean, the cutscenes are pretty hard to look at, but like all things considered, it's still very playable today.
Yeah, just with that color scheme is just everything was just dark.
Yeah,
Because you also factor in a lot of the levels take place either in low light or underground, and
yeah,
just everything's just very hard to look at and just find anything.
I totally agree. It's not a visually stunning game. Where this game is like I'll talk about it more in my likes, but where this game shines is definitely in the storytelling and the gameplay. But
Right.
like I have a few things written down here. Uh, if you got nothing else, I'll just throw another one out.
Yeah, go for it, bud.
All right, the first one that I'm going to start with is, and this one's a pretty specific dig, and I'm sure there's people out there that like this section, but this is actually what prompted me to damn near beg you to join me in this playthrough. Was that stupid fucking night level with the car and all the bats, where you have to have one.
Oh,
Yeah, you know
oh,
what I'm talking about.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
That was such a pain.
that was the worst level in this entire game because I tried so many times to do it solo.
Hmm.
And what infuriated me about that level was, yeah, okay, so you're in this car, and also the solo gameplay. I'm just going to cut myself off for a second. The solo gameplay is very difficult at times because the AI for your partner, and you're never running through this game alone, you always have a partner with you. And the AI for that partner is horrendous,
Hmm.
but they have nothing to do with this section. The problem is that this entire game, like many games on the Xbox 360, kind of like Resident Evil 5, were built around the concept of playing co-op with somebody. They were really trying to push the Xbox Live online mechanics in every single game, it seemed, and this game was no exception. So this level, the way that it's broken down is it's nighttime, and on whatever planet you're on, there's all these like giant bat-like creatures that swarm. I forget what they're called. And the only way to combat them is with this hyper powerful light. And if you get caught in the dark, or if that if you're outside of any light, they'll just destroy you like piranhas.
Hmm.
So, so you're driving this car that you just went through hell to get, and it's got two seats. It's got the driver's seat and it's got this cockpit or this turret. Except instead of a turret, it's a giant flashlight. In single player, you have to consistently jump back and forth between the driver's seat and the turret seat to take control, and you can't move while you're shooting this light, these bats with this fucking light. I think in multiplayer, you had one you had one player that controlled the car and one player that controlled the light. Except the car couldn't move when the player was shooting the light. It took all the power from the vehicle or whatever they said. But at least it made it playable because one character can consistently look around and find the bugs. Because when you do it in single player, you're like you start at the same aiming point as always. And you have to then start from fresh and then find the bats and it's just such a fucking nightmare. It was the worst level in this entire game. Sorry, that was my rant.
No, you're good, bud.
But yeah, I remember doing it with you. We were done in one try.
Yeah, yeah. It was one try now that I think about it.
Yeah, but doing it alone, I don't know. That pissed me off. But
Yeah, I was happy to help.
dude, I'm happy that we played through the entire game together. Like it was a lot of fun, honestly. This game, yeah, you could tell it was built for cooperative, but when you're playing it with a friend, it is a lot of fun.
Definitely meant for co-op, and the game as a whole is a lot easier when you're playing with somebody.
For sure. And that kind of leads me into one of the other things that I don't like about this game. And like I mentioned that this game has horrible partner AI.
Mm-hmm.
The horrible thing about that is your partner, like when you're playing through the campaign on solo, you're always playing as Marcus Phoenix. And typically your partner will be Dom. And whatever partner you're dealing with, they love to run straight into the fight, like straight
Mm-hmm.
out of cover into enemy territory, and then fucking die.
And then you got to go rescue them and revive them and all that.
Yeah, and if you can't revive them, the death of that character means that you have to restart the entire segment from whatever checkpoint you were just at. So if you get locked into a set, like if your checkpoint fucks you, which it totally can, then you're gonna have to start the whole level over. What's that?
I was like, and it has.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But and it's kind of a pain in the ass, like because your partner will go down a lot, especially with those sections. As I wrote here as another dislike, those brute enemy sections where you have to like lead them, like they're like a charging bull, and you have to lead them out into a courtyard or whatever, where you can shoot it with the hammer of dawn.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. That just sucked.
There's a couple of them, I think. There's one, like I said, I think one of them doubles them up. You have like two of them you got to fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I
But
think you're right.
those sections are horrible because when you're playing it solo, your partner will always step right in the way of the charging bull.
Yeah, no matter what you do, they're always going to get in the way. You always have to revive them, and then you always end up dying in the process.
Yeah. It's like I see a lot of similarities in the partner AI between this game and Resident Evil 5, which I know you haven't played, but Resident Evil 5 you got to deal with this character Sheva, and Resident Evil 5 is a phenomenal game to play with a friend,
Mm-hmm.
but it's such a shit game to play solo. And it's no excuses, but um I don't really have a lot more dislikes about this game. I did write down the multiplayer, but that's just mainly because like I dabbled in it very briefly when I was a kid playing this game and I hated it. I don't think this game franchise ever had a good, competitive multiplayer mode, but that's just me. That and
Yeah. No.
there's a lot of bugs in this game.
Now, are we talking bugs as in enemies or bugs as in bugs in the software?
Uh, Bugs in the software. The bugs in the game were fun. The bugs in the software were not fun. Um, the one bug that I remember, and this isn't when I played it with you. This is actually when I played it years ago on the Xbox 360. Was I made it to like the very end of the game, and I was on the train. I was at the end of the train sequence, and if for anybody who's played this game to the end, you know what I'm talking about. You go through this, what I think is actually a really cool level, the whole train sequence. I thought it was great. But when you get to the very end, you're up against, like the big bad of the game, and you have to snipe him from where you sit. And for whatever reason, the game glitched in a way where he was invincible, and I could not snipe him at all. And no matter how many times I retried from the checkpoint and, did everything that I could possibly do, I could not land a hit on him. So I was soft locked at the very end of the game, basically, because of a bug in this game software, and I had to restart from the beginning. And that's when I said, fuck this, and I put the game down, and I did not touch it ever again until you and I decided to do a co-op playthrough. So,
Yeah, it sounds about right.
yeah. Too many bugs. And like I remember like we'll definitely do another episode on Gears of War 2, but I thought one of the funniest bugs at the same time it was kind of game breaking was actually in Gears of War 2 that I experienced. And in that one sequence when we're on like those giant vehicles and we're on turrets and we have to fight enemies, you know, whatever. It's like
Oh yeah.
remember when I would get on the turret and like the turret somehow it's like how do I describe this? The turret itself was locked on an axis and the
Mm-hmm.
vehicle was like off-roading around this axis. So like my character being in the position of holding the turret would eventually end up somehow like upside down diagonal and sideways like clipped into the vehicle because like it just went fucking haywire. And we couldn't get through the level because I was literally locked into a fucking glitch.
Yeah, I do remember that. You were freaking out about that bug.
It was kind of funny though, in
It
retrospect.
was.
I mean, I'll definitely try that game again. I do still want to go through all the Gears franchise because I've seen videos of the later games and they look visually incredible. Like Gears 5 looks amazing. But I think the whole thing that made me want to play through all of them was like I don't remember ever beating the third one and I really wanted to go through all of them to see the progression and improvements in the gameplay and the visuals.
Yeah, and I think I have Gears 3 downloaded onto my console. So I mean, even if you want to go back and redo Gears 2 again, so that way we
Definitely.
can keep moving forward with that. I'm definitely down for that.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you're still taking your Xbox with you to work and everything, then I'm definitely down.
Oh yeah.
But enough shitting on this game because this game actually I do like this game quite a bit. And I do want to give it all the love that it deserves. So, that being said, why don't we talk about what we actually like about it?
Sure.
You want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'll start.
All right, what do you got?
Um, one of the things that I absolutely love about this game is the recurring Carmine bit. Want to explain a little bit more about that?
Are you talking about the character like there's a different
Yeah,
Carmine in each game who like
yeah,
yeah, okay. It's kind of a dark bit. But
it is.
yeah.
But it's dark, but at the same time, it's just that recurring joke, that recurring character, I guess, for lack of a better phrase.
Dude, it's
It's
like
just
it's like wearing a red shirt in Star Trek. Like being named Carmine in the Gears franchise is not a good thing. It's a death sentence.
100%.
But I
I
love
think.
how what's up?
Go ahead. No,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
you go. You go.
I was gonna say I think spoilers for anyone who hasn't played this uh, almost 15-year-old game. I think it was probably about halfway through the first game where that iteration of Carmine died.
In the first game?
Yeah,
I don't even know if he made it that far, did he?
did he? I don't remember.
I don't even know if he made it out of the first act, to be honest with you. I don't remember. I know it wasn't very long, but
Yeah,
I think it's funny how like each game if memory serves me correctly, because again, it's been a very long time since I've played the second and third game, like through to the end. But if I'm not mistaken, each game that you go into, each Carmine that you meet is like a higher rank, you know, better soldier, and they all have the same fate essentially. But I don't want to talk out of my ass, but I feel like each time you come across a Carmine, they're like a little bit more veteran. But yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely
that makes sense.
it's like the South Park Kenny of the franchise. It's
Oh my God, you killed Carmine.
you bastards. Um, I will say one thing that I loved about this game and this franchise as a whole is the interactive reload system.
Okay.
I thought that was such a great idea since the first time I played this game. So if anybody doesn't know, when you're playing this game, because it's this game is this franchise is a cover-based shooter franchise. Like this game is what I believe revolutionized the concept of cover-based shooting. And it is, for all intents and purposes, like the quintessential cover-based shooter. But the reloading in this game is more than just pressing X or right bumper or whatever the fuck to make the gun reload. When you do it, depending on what gun you have, like it'll come up with like a wheel or a bar up at the top right of your screen, and it'll come up with a few different shaded areas that the slider on this bar, circle, whatever, can land in. So you press right bumper, and then this line, this dot starts going around this circle or up and down this line. I forget exactly how it works, but you have to try to land it on the best possible spot, which is of course the smallest, most highlighted section. And if you do happen to get a perfect reload, then you will actually, I believe, get a damage boost with your ammo for that magazine or for a certain amount of time or whatever it is. And that adds a whole other level of, like, I don't want to say strategy, but challenge and thought process and immersiveness into this game, because now like you get into some pretty wicked firefights, right?
Yeah.
So like, especially like when you're at the gas station trying to get the car, like I remember that one. That one's pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole while you're fighting these enemies with whatever gun you happen to have at the time, and every time you got to reload, now you're not just thinking, okay, let me press this button and reload real quick. You're like, oh fuck, I got enemies coming at me, and I'm trying to reload, but I keep like having shit reloads, and my gun is jamming, and I'm fucking it up, and now I have weak weapons, and it adds a little bit of stress, but it's cool. At least I think so.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the gas station where you're trying to get the car, remember that bit when we were when you had to like push the car along, I guess, as like active cover, and didn't the car just like start just levitating and just flying out of screen?
Yeah, yeah, it did. Yeah, because when we were walking at nighttime, we were going between the lights. We had to like take cover behind a burning car. Yeah, you're right. And then yeah, I'm trying to think exactly what happened. You are 100% correct, because there's enemies shooting at us from down the street, which is why we're taking cover behind the thing. And then all of a sudden, I think like I don't know if we both got affected by it or if I got affected by it or you or whatever, but like yeah, it's like the car just ended up like just going up. Like we're walking downhill, but somehow the car stayed on its x-axis. So like we're walking downhill, but the car is just somehow going up and up and up. Now we're just totally open for for fire, and we fucking died each time. That was stupid.
Yeah, I gotta check my screen captures to see if I have it because I'm pretty sure that's something I would have saved.
Dude, if you have a screen capture of that, honestly, can you send it to me, because I want to post that on the Instagram.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be fantastic. I hope that if we do this for GameCap, that same kind of glitch happens again. That would be hilarious.
Oh, I'm excited for it.
Hell yeah, dude. Um, do you have anything else you want to touch on for likes?
Um, I would say the variety of weapons,
Yeah,
particularly the frag grenades. They're fun to toss out, like
yeah,
especially because they have that little throwing arc that you can
definitely.
use to help aim. But other than that, yeah, just the general variety of weapons.
I like that you could go back and forth between like the human weapons and the enemy type weapons. I can't
Hmm.
remember for the life of me. I'm blanking it right now. I can't even
Oh, the
think of what these
locust,
fucking enemies are type or what the enemies are called.
the locust.
Thank you. I
You're
keep thinking
welcome.
Skags, and I'm like, that's Borderlands. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, actually, my favorite gun in the game was their rifle, the single shot rifle.
Hmm.
What was your favorite gun?
You know, it's probably a tie between the their standard the chainsaw assault rifle and the grenade launcher.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how we can talk about this game without bringing up the Lancer,
Hmm.
dude. Like that game, like that gun, the chainsaw rifle, is it is fucking Gears of War. This game, like, I remember when I first played this game when I was like 13 years old or whatever, and just like going from being a Nintendo kid primarily to playing something like this was like, holy shit. The level of brutality in this game. Like you could literally just run up to enemies and, chainsaw them in half from the shoulder to the hip with this assault rifle that you're equipped with. And it's like, I don't know, for my like 13, 14-year-old brain, it was mind blowing.
I always had a problem with executing that melee attack. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just my timing, but that's something I barely could pull off.
Were you tapping the button or were you holding the button?
I think I was holding it.
Oh, I don't know.
Nah, we'll have to see when we go through it again.
Yeah, we'll give it another shot. The Yeah, I have written down here like we had to recognize the Lancer, that rifle. And then we also have to recognize the Hammer of Dawn. I actually wrote it down as Hammer of Dawn, baby, because it is the coolest fucking gun in this game. You only get to use it a handful of times because like no joke, the stars have to align correctly for you to be able to use this gun. But it's so satisfying when you get to pull it off.
Like he says, stars can't do it. Not today.
Dude, like
At like 98% of the game.
it's funny that like so much of this game does happen underground, like you were saying earlier. But one of the best weapons in the game involves you having to literally be outside in open air with the satellite aligning perfectly. Like,
Hmm.
okay. um, what else you got? You got anything else?
Um, yeah, the only other thing that I could say for likes in general is what we call them, like the locust holes that pop up every now and again that you have to they have like a small wave of enemies that climb out of
Yeah,
it that you got to defeat.
yeah.
That was a little fun. That was always fun.
Those were cool, and I liked how they could just it kind of like it would kind of throw things for a loop because I mean like this is one of those games where yeah early on in that console generation especially you would walk into a room and you would see a room full of like cover and barricades and whatever and you're like okay there's gonna be a shootout here like you just know it but because of those holes you don't really know where it's gonna be coming from. I mean you can kind of start to gauge it from where the cover is facing
Hmm.
but it's still yeah it added that level of like oh shit like these enemies could kind of come out of anywhere. And I will say one thing that I like about those holes is that you could if you were good with grenades and you had the right angle you could close them a little bit early by
Hmm.
throwing a grenade perfectly into the hole. I thought that was a cool system.
Yeah, I always tried to throw the grenades in the hole.
Yeah, it's not like ammo is tight in this game. Like there seems to be especially later on there seems to be like a surplus of ammo, but I think early on in the game it's a little bit harder to come by. And to have the ability to close those holes a little early without sitting through, fucking 3 to 4 waves of enemies coming out, it helps. But one, I'm trying to think. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm good there, buddy.
All right, because I'm totally down to just go into like an overall rant and conversation about this game and the franchise afterwards. One thing that I liked about this game is the story. And I mean, I guess we could touch on the story a little bit later in case anybody's worried about spoilers. But that mixed with the the really bad visuals, I thought it was so funny.
Oh, that actually reminds me. So kind of like piggybacking off of that, another one of my likes, just like the general character interactions with each other and like the dialogue for
Yeah,
just even as not even in the cutscenes, but as you're walking through and just walking through the world.
yeah. The characters, they really do a really good job in this whole franchise of like setting the scene and what the fuck is it called? Again, I'm spacing, but um character development. And like
Yeah.
you have an emotional connection to pretty much all of the main characters throughout the franchise. Do you have a favorite?
No, I can't say that I do because they're all unique in their own way.
I think I mean I agree with that. They definitely are there's a lot of variety with who to choose. And from the four main characters in this game that you deal with primarily, you got Marcus, who's the main character, then you got Dom, who's easily the second character, like secondary character. Then you got I think my favorite is Coltrane, because I think he's just a fan favorite.
Hmm.
And then you got Baird.
Baird's very underrated.
Baird is underrated, but I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Baird actually got his own game later on.
Hmm.
But Baird is underrated. Baird is a hero. Baird's cool. I like him. But I just think that the character interaction, like the shit you hear over the radio about Coltrane, is so funny. Like, remember when it was nighttime, and I think it was when we were trying to go find the car, and we went into that like encampment or like that homeless like village,
Hmm.
and everybody started like over the radio. You just hear everybody like pining over Coltrane, asking for autographs and everything like that. I thought it was
Man, I actually don't remember that, but that
oh
just gives
man,
you a more incentive to go back and play it again.
absolutely. I'm definitely down to do another quick playthrough of this game. If I mean, I think that I know that we're both busy adults, like, and we have day jobs like chumps. But I think that if we could dedicate a whole day, this is not a long game. We could beat it in a weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
It's only like a 10-hour game.
Which is appropriate. That's about what it should be.
Yeah, agreed. And you and I, when we played through this, I know that we were kind of doing like one act at a time, and there's 5 acts in the game. So we'd sit down and play it for a couple hours, shoot the shit, catch up, have fun, and then we would say, all right, we got shit to do. See you later.
Yeah.
And we gave it like half a dozen, you know, plays, like days of playing, and we had a great time.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah. This is definitely, if anybody's looking for a fun franchise to play with somebody else, like co-op, even couch co-op, this is such a great game. And you could do it split screen. That's what I did with my brother when I was younger. We played it split screen co-op all the time. It was a great time. And I think that's did you and I do split screen, or did we just do it online?
No, we did it online
Yeah, okay.
because when we started this, I was on my assignment in Baltimore.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we started when I was in Baltimore.
Yeah. Man, I want to play these games again now. I know I got a couple of other games that I got on the plate right now that I'm playing through for the show. I got Batman Arkham Asylum, and I just finished The Division, but I would not be opposed to playing through the Gears franchise. And I could get lost in hours of horde mode.
I'll be honest with you, I've never done horde mode.
I think it started in Gears 3.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's fun single player. You can have some fun with it. I don't know. I think as an adult now, I would have a harder time justifying sitting down alone and playing through horde mode, especially with, defunct servers and blah blah blah, and no real point in leveling up anymore with
Yeah.
Gears 3 anyway. But playing with friends, horde mode is such a fun time. It's like playing Call of Duty Zombies. Just like you sit down with a couple of buddies and you just play it for hours. I would not be opposed to playing some horde mode with you. That would be a good time.
Oh yeah. Actually, my old supervisor Larry, that's actually one of the things that he does with his friends every Thursday night. They have game night, and one of the things they play is they play through horde mode on Gears.
Oh hell yeah.
So, so it is a very popular gameplay style, to say
Dude,
the least.
it's fun. It's like I don't want to call it like tower defense. You can set up traps and you can set up things that'll help you, like turrets and whatever, but it's just fun. Just endless waves of enemies. Just, yeah. definitely. We should give it a shot. I think you would like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, like this game knows its strong point, and this game really, like I said in the beginning, it shines with its combat. The gameplay is so much fun. The shooting mechanics are solid. The controls, the movement controls are trash, but the cover shooting mechanics in this game are top tier.
Yeah, yeah, dude, I agree with you 100%.
But I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot more to say about this this game. I got a lot to say about the franchise, but I got to play more of the franchise before I feel comfortable really putting in my opinion. With this game, I can definitely say though, I enjoy it. It's kind of a hard one to go back to. I will go back to it. I think we should. I think that now, like, I know that you playing this with me was your first time playing a Gears game, and you picked it up right away. Like, you're not a fucking new gamer. It's just a new franchise to you. But like, I think
Yeah,
now that you're familiar with the franchise, we could blast through this game probably in like a day.
probably. You know, if we started early enough, we absolutely could.
Yeah, and it's not like we really have to like care to go finding any of the collectibles. Oh, which also reminds me, this game has collectibles, which I love, and
Mhm.
it did it in a way where it's not like any Ubisoft game, especially nowadays, where you have like 3 million collectibles to go find and you're inundated with them. Like this game, I think has like what 60 dog tags or cog tags, sorry.
Yeah,
And
it's like 60 or 100, something like that.
yeah, and it was the gray and brown graphics scheme actually kind of came to this game's benefit because as you're going throughout the game, anything that is not gray or brown really does catch your eye. And one of those things that'll catch your eye is the red cog logo, spray painted somewhere on a building. And in the beginning, it's super stupid obvious, but later on in the game, you actually kind of have to search for it. But anytime that you see that spray painted cog tag or cog, symbol, you know that somewhere nearby there's a set of cog tags. And I don't remember what they give you once you collect a certain amount. I don't know if it's like art books or whatever the fuck, but I just love collectibles like that. I don't know. I'm a sucker.
Yeah, I think the art books, that's pretty on brand for games of the time. They didn't really do a lot as far as giving you like extras, like extra weapons or any benefits to the gameplay. It's always like that extra like bonus behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, see, I guess that's maybe, I don't know if it's a fault of me or a fault of the game, really, where, like, I don't remember what they give you. I know that you and I got quite a few of those cog tags, but what you get doesn't stand out in memory. So I don't know, take with that what you will, but I don't know if it was like visual effects, like, make the game fucking sepia tone as if it's not already, black and white mode, old film mode. Like a lot of the games at the time, you would unlock, outfits, like especially Capcom games and stuff. But I think this game probably did like art books or some shit like that. But I think it's cool. I think it's a good game. And I think that what this game did for Xbox cannot be understated.
I agree. It's definitely a fun game, and like we've said on multiple occasions throughout this episode, is it's a quick game. It's one that you can play and blast through really in, we'll say, about 2 days.
Yeah. There's not a ton of replayability with this game, I don't think. I guess you could argue that there's sections where, like there's sections in the game where you split apart your
Hmm.
party. So yeah, you'll come across these sections in the game where you come to a fork in the road, and there's typically going to be like, the four main characters walking together in these sections, and one section, half of them will go right, half of them will go left, or up and down, whatever. And sometimes it's kind of cool actually. I think it's annoying when you're alone doing it because you have to like watch over the AI person who's really stupid. But
Mm.
it's really fun when you're playing it with a friend because like say I choose to go up, you choose to go down, and now I have to like, there's a sniper rifle up here, so I pick up the sniper rifle and I have to protect you while you're running along the street and there's enemies and windows above you and stuff like that. Like those sections, some of them are really cool like that. Most
Some
of
of
them. Yeah, I think most of them. There's a couple where it's kind of annoying, but yeah, it's to each their own.
yeah.
It also depends what weapons you have equipped when you decide to go through these sections. Like most of this game is pretty close quarters combat. So like I found myself throughout this game not even bothering to pick up sniper rifles until the train. But I
Which
would
ironically for me, sorry to cut you off.
you're good.
Um, I almost always had a sniper rifle in my inventory.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Did it come in handy a lot?
it did for me. I mean,
That's good.
it was it was helpful to just try and pick off enemies from a distance if I could.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, there's definitely sections in this game where it is helpful. But, there are times when like you're taking cover and you have a big courtyard in front of you, or there's, whatever, like a long road that you're trying to snipe enemies at the end of. But for me, the way I ended up playing this game a lot of the time for the most part was I would just pick up the Locust rifle, the single shot, which was significantly stronger than the Lancer, and I would just make my way through cover down the road or whatever.
Yeah,
And like it's that rifle, they it looks like an SMG. It's damn near like a marksman rifle. It's not a sniper. It doesn't have the same range and zoom, but I mean you could take out most enemies with that gun pretty quickly. And I would typically keep that and a shotgun if I could find it.
yeah. Shotgun's also a really good one to have, not
Yeah.
just in Gears, but in any game which allows you to have multiple guns. Having a shotgun's always very helpful.
Oh, you would love to talk to Pat.
Yeah.
Have you listened to the Borderlands episode?
Yeah, yeah. I did.
Remember how
I
Pat and I
do that
got
with
into that whole
every
argument?
episode.
Oh, thank you.
What?
Remember how Pat and I got into that whole argument about shotguns versus SMGs?
Yeah,
SMG is
dude.
the way to go. What's that?
I want to go back and play Borderlands now too.
I fucking love Borderlands. I want to play Borderlands 2 now. I haven't played through that one in a while. I got to play the DLC on that, but I will say I don't know if there's ever been DLC for any of the Gears games. At least not for like single player or anything like that.
Not that I'm aware of.
Probably like horde mode maps and stuff and multiplayer maps.
Yeah, because I do remember on the main menu that they did have like their own little like marketplace, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably for like just multiplayer maps and stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, I will say I'm aware that this game, especially in its heyday, had a massive multiplayer following. Like it was a really popular game mode. I just did not like it. I wasn't good at it. I mean, I was young, but I don't know. For me, this game did not even remotely interest me as a multiplayer title.
Hey, to each their own. I mean, like we said, it's it's hard to look at, and but even then, you just have to find the right group of people to play with.
Yeah, it's true. I just when it came to like the third game, especially, like I said, I put a lot of time into horde mode, and that was fun because you could do matchmaking with anybody. But like, I think that's kind of where me personally as a gamer, it kind of solidified. I didn't like PvP a lot. I still don't. Like even nowadays, I don't really care to play Battlefield or Call of Duty or anything online anymore. But if I have a bunch of friends and we want to play something that's like PvE, like Helldivers or something like that, that's fun.
Mhm.
I'll play the shit out of that. But I don't like playing against other people because other people are toxic. It's like I don't like to play Sea of Thieves a lot of the time because, granted, most of it is PvE, but then you just come across those couple of people that just ruin the whole experience for you. You just spent 4 hours with your buddies plundering the seas and gaining all this treasure, and now you're about to go take it into port, and all of a sudden there's two dipshits that want to take everything and blow up your ship and kill you constantly, and I don't like PvP.
Yeah.
But I think I am tuckered out with everything I wanted to say about this game. How about you?
Yeah, I think I'm good. You want to go ahead and slap a rating on this?
Yeah, but please, you go first.
So this begs the question: what are we rating it out of?
Ooh. Do you have anything in mind?
No, I can't. I can't say that I do.
I don't remember
Um.
how many cogs there were. That would have been a great number.
Uh.
There's 5 chapters, 5 acts.
All right. So we'll do it. We'll make it simple. We'll do it out of 5 acts.
All right.
Um. For me, I would give this probably like a solid 3 out of 5.
Okay. Okay.
Reasons being, like for all the things that we talked about, um, the game in general is just hard to look at because of the color choices for the entire game.
Yeah.
The the sprinting mechanics make things very difficult to control, and especially when a lot of the time the characters themselves are sprinting.
Yeah.
Um, there are bugs in the game, as we've discussed earlier. Not particularly game breaking, but
They can
still
be.
it can be. Especially like if you're playing the versions on, Series X, Series S, whatever. They addressed and patched most of those bugs. I say most of them because again, we had the car that just decided to fly away. Um, but it's a fun game. It doesn't take long if you're playing it all the way through. It's a good way to spend a weekend.
For sure. All right. Well, 3 out of 5. I respect that. I was I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
And I'm a little bit nicer with this game, I think. I don't know, because it holds kind of a special place in my heart. And everything, the franchise aside, this game is simple fun. It's not an overly complicated game. It's like there's not a million mechanics that go into this game. You're not spending a ton of time in menus. Really, you're not spending any time in menus. It's a pretty straightforward game. The game does hold your hand a bit too much in my opinion sometimes, but it's a very linear story. It's a very linear game. You're in corridors going down. It's not you're not in a maze. You're just cover shooting down hallways consistently. And 3.5 out of 5, it gains points because, like I said, the combat is very fun. While there's not a ton of weapons in the game, the weapons give you enough diversity that it keeps things fresh. There's not a lot of replayability in this game, but you can decide, oh, I just want to do a whole pistols run, or oh, I just want to do a whole whatever run, and you can do that if you want. I thought that was fun. It's got a fun amount of collectibles that aren't always too hard to find. The the cover shooting mechanic in this game, like I said, is top tier. The game is fun, and that's why it's getting a lot of points. It loses points because, like you said, it looks like shit. It aged like milk. The graphics are not that impressive by today's standards. In 2006, they were fucking awesome, and they're even better in the second game. But
Can't confirm.
yeah, but it's this is the game that started it all. And I mean, this game has gone on to produce multiple sequels, and it's still going today, if I'm not mistaken. It's 2024 when I'm recording this episode. I don't know when the last game came out, but I don't think it was that long ago. And like I said, this game, like Xbox would not be where it is today without this game and Halo. Like, if you think of Xbox, what franchises do you think of? Like Xbox exclusives. I think of Halo, I think of Gears of War, and I think of Forza. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, Halo is the first one
Yeah.
by all means.
Yeah. And Gears of War is definitely high on that list. So 3.5 out of 5, I think that's where I'm gonna sit. So
All right, that sounds good.
well, listen, thank you, buddy, so much for joining me. And I want to give you the microphone and plug anything you want to plug. If you want to plug GameCap coming up, which I know is
Yeah,
something you're going to be getting started.
yeah, absolutely. So anyone listening, um, go to YouTube and check out GameCap. 2 words. I mean, obviously, I haven't posted in a long time because I started this project with a couple of buddies back in college, and we just kind of fell off the wagon. But I'm excited to get that started again. Same sort of format. I'm gonna be playing games with friends and just hanging out and having a good time.
Cool. You got an Instagram?
Yeah, you can follow me personally on Instagram at Ryder3142, and I don't know if we have an Instagram for the channel, but I will definitely work on that.
I think it's GameCap official.
Yes, you're right. Thank you for reminding me that. You know more about my stuff than I do.
Well, I'm happy to support, buddy. Well, thank you again
Yeah,
so much for joining me on this episode, and I hope that everybody who listened to this episode enjoyed listening to us ramble about the Gears of War game. Um, so if you did enjoy what you hear, please leave a like, leave a follow, leave a review, leave a rating, leave a comment, give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you, and you can reach out to me on my Instagram, where I'm definitely most active at the Bards of Gaming, or I'm on Twitter and X, but barely. And you can find me over there at 2 Bards of Gaming with the number 2. And you can find all links to my socials as well as, new merch and stuff like that and my email over at thebardsofgamingpodcast.com. So thank you again so much for hanging out, and I definitely look forward to bringing you guys more content. Adios.
see ya.